Hey everybody, welcome to or back to my channel, My Kind of Stuff, and today we are playing Love is in the TBR for October. All right, before we jump into our roles, I want to go over my TBR from the game last month. I did complete it. Our first role gave us a standalone. I had picked Cold Storage. I did finish it. Our second role was A Kiss of Death. That was the Undeniable series. I read book 2, Unbeautifully, and I did finish that one. Our next role has a prologue. I read Something Wilder. I did complete that one. Our next role gave me the prompt audiobook, so I listened to One True Loves, and I did finish that. Our next role gave us a booktuber fave, so I read Claw, and I finished that one as well. And then our last prompt gave us ends in even page numbers, so I read Haunting Beauty, and I just finished that one as well. So that being said, we don't have to add any Kiss of Death spaces to the board this month. And now for October, because it is spooky season and I am working on Trick or Treatathon and the Horror Bingo Challenge, I really want to try to focus my prompts this month around horror books. So I'm going to try to do that as much as possible. We will see what the board allows me to do. That being said, let's jump right into roll 1. All right, so roll 1, a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An O prompt. A random number generator pick. All right, roll 1 gave us the prompt random number generator. For this one, I am going to do a random number wheel 1 through 27. I'm going to go off of the shelf behind me, which are all of my Twisted Retreat special editions, which is a horror book box, and I think that's going to work really well just to get me a horror book on the TBR right away. So let's get that wheel going. Okay, so number 4. Let me go grab it. All right, conveniently, book number 4 on the shelf is Blood Covenant by Alan Baxter. This one is actually on my prompt list for Trick or Treatathon as well as the Horror Bingo Challenge, so I'm really excited to be able to put this one on the TBR right away. All right, let's get into roll number 2. Roll 2. Is that a 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. A heart prompt. 3-name author. So that pretty much is just like an author that uses, a middle initial or a middle name, or if they have 2 last names. Any of those can work for this one. All right, roll number 2 gave us a 3-name author prompt. It's kind of hard to see. So for this can be an author with like a middle name, middle initial, 2 last names, whatever, just 3 names. So for this, I am picking actually a new book that I got on my Kindle. It was part of the Amazon Reads First program, and that is Lenny Among Ghosts. It is a middle grade Halloween story by the author Frank Maria Reifenberg. It is actually a translated work, and it just looks so cute, and I can't wait to start this one. All right, let's get into roll 3. Roll 3. 2. Oh no. 2. A Kiss of Death. So I now have to move back to the beginning of the board, and also we have to do a spinner wheel pick for all of the active series that I'm reading. all the way back to the beginning. Well, unfortunately, roll 3 landed us on a Kiss of Death space. So let's spin the spinner wheel of all of my possibilities. So when I land on the Kiss of Death, I have a spinner wheel with all of my active series, and I have to read the next book in whatever series the spinner wheel picks, as well as move back to the beginning of the board. All right, so the spinner wheel gave us Art of Your World, which is the Abby Jimenez series. I accidentally read book 2 first, so I actually need to read Part of Your World still, which is book 1. These are like interconnected standalones, so it's not really a big deal that I didn't read the first book first, but I really enjoyed the second one, so I'm excited to start the first. That sounds weird to say, but yeah. That being said, we are now back at the beginning of the board, so let's get into roll 4. Roll 4. A 1. An X prompt. A paperback. All right, well, at least that's easy. All right, roll 4 gave us a paperback for our prompt. For this one, because I keep putting it off and I really want to read it and I don't know why I haven't, I'm putting God of Wrath by Rena Kent on the TBR. It needs to happen. I've loved the first 2 books in the series. I really want to read book 3. And I don't know why, just the last 2 months it hasn't happened, even though it's been on my radar. So it's happening now. It's officially on the TBR and it needs to happen. All right, let's get into roll 5. Roll 5. 2. Oh my goodness. 1, 2. Another X prompt that is a standalone. All right, roll 5 gave us the prompt standalone. For this one, I am going to be listening to Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I don't have a physical copy of this one, but it is on my Trick or Treatathon bingo board, so I definitely want to get to it, and I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it and really enjoy it, and I'm excited to find out what it's about. Let's get into roll 6. Roll 6. You know, for being 6 rolls in, we haven't moved very far. A 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another O prompt. Ends in odd page numbers. All right, for roll 6, we got ends in odd page numbers. It's kind of funny, last month we got ends in even page numbers, so I guess it's fitting that we got the odd page number prompt now. For this, I will be reading my Twisted Retreat version of No Gods, No Monsters, another absolutely gorgeous Twisted Retreat edition, and this is also on my Horror Bingo Challenge. I don't think it's on my Trick or Treat-a-thon TBR, but it is on my Horror Bingo Challenge, so I am excited to get to this one. All right, let's get into roll 7. Roll 7. A 4. I really thought we just hit that Kiss of Death again. Thank goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another O. Book with an animal on the cover. All right, roll 7 gave us the prompt animal on the cover. For this one, I am going to be reading the second book in the Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees graphic novel series. This one is on my Trick or Treat-a-thon bingo board, and I read the first one a few months ago and absolutely loved it. It's kind of like Dexter vibes, but with these cute, cozy little animals. Like our main character is this like bear, and all the townspeople are different animals. We have like a pig and a cat and everything. And it's so cute, but also like gruesome and brutal. And you don't expect it because it's just this cute little pastel animal world. And I can't wait to read book 2. All right, let's hop in to roll 8. As long as we get more than, I think, a 3, we are off the board. So let's see what happens. Roll 8. A 6. All right, we have made it off the board. Whew. All right. So 7 prompts this month. We have random number generator, 3-name author. I left this blank. This is going to be a spinner wheel pick for landing on the Kiss of Death. We also have paperback, standalone, ends and odd page numbers, and animal on the cover. All right, we made it off the board. So 7 prompts, but there are a few other books that I will be trying to get to this month. First up, we have for our 11 Horror Book Club that Jenny and I host. Link down below in the description to join the Discord if you want to join with us. But we are reading The Butcher Game this month, which is actually book 2 of the Butcher and the Wren series. I will be rereading book 1 because I read this a few years ago now and I want to refresh my memory because book 2 does follow the same characters as book 1. I don't have my copy of book 2 yet, but it is on the way. It just released last week. So yeah, really excited to get to this one this month. I also have a couple arcs that I really need to get to. The first one is due like the first week of October, so I really need to buckle down, and that is Make Me a Mixtape, which is kind of like a rock star, well, ex-rock star producer romance, and it looks super cute. It's giving all the like 80s vibes, and I am here for it. And then my other arc, it's technically not due until the end of November. So, like, if I don't get to it this month, it's not the biggest deal, but I'm really excited for it. And that is Puck and Prejudice. I have read 3 other books by this author and absolutely loved them. So, I'm really excited to get to this one. It's like a hockey romance meets Pride and Prejudice because he, like, goes back in time and meets her. And yeah, it sounds kind of silly, goofy, which this author does really well. I really love her comedy that she sprinkles into her romances, so I'm really excited for this one. Now, I also have a few other books on my radar. Of course, I may not get to all of these. The first one being Rust Colored Rain. I've just been really feeling like reading a zombie book, so I think this is going to be perfect. It is on my Horror Bingo TBR. So yeah, I need to get to this one, and I think October is the perfect season to be reading a zombie apocalypse book. The next one that I do really want to get to, and it is on both my Horror Bingo Challenge TBR and my Trick or Treatathon bingo board, and that is Clowns vs. Spiders. The clowns are super nice, like party clowns, and they're forced to go work in this haunted house, and they hate it. And all of a sudden, these giant spiders come to attack, and they need to save the day. And it just looks so silly and goofy and campy, and like this one is at the top of my list. I really want to read it. I also have Finders Keepers by Stephen King. This one is also on my Horror Bingo Challenge, and I can't remember if it's on my Trick or Treat bingo board or not, but I've been putting this off, and I really want to get to it. I read book 1 a couple months ago and absolutely loved it. This is book 2 in the trilogy. I'm super excited to continue because this one is we're like following an author that gets unalived, and it's like we're going after someone who accidentally comes across their manuscript for their final book, and I just love when there's like books within books, so this sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Another book I have been putting off, but it is on my Horror Bingo Challenge, is The Woodkin. I also have my Trick or Treat bingo board as well, so I do really need to get to it. It's fairly short. This is another Twisted Retreat copy as well. I am trying to get quite a few of these off of my TBR, so I'm glad that it is spooky season finally and we can focus on them. I would also really like to get to Briar Dark this month. This is also on my horror bingo challenge, and this one sounds like it's almost kind of cosmic horror. There's like time jumps and maps aren't making sense, and it sounds like a wild ride, so I'm definitely interested to check it out. I also really want to try to get to Small Horrors by Darcy Coates. It is on both of the challenges that I'm trying to do this month. And this is like an anthology of 50 short stories by Darcy Coates. And I'm not always the biggest short story fan, but I feel like if Darcy Coates writes it, I generally enjoy it. So I'm hoping that this collection will work for me. And then the last book that I have on the TBR is In the Weeds. This one is not the highest priority for me, but it is the second book in the Love Light Farms series. I read Love Light Farms in December last year, so it's been quite a while. But this one definitely has the fall vibes, so I thought this time of year would be perfect. If I don't get to it this month, it will definitely be on next month's TBR. I totally lied. That was not the last book on the TBR. The last book on the TBR is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I am part of a traveling book club that Maggie's Books and Stuff hosts for her Patreons. And this is the book I just received to read this month. So as you can see, a couple people have already read and annotated it, and now it is my turn. And I actually haven't read Flawless yet, so maybe I try to get to that first. But I know it's an interconnected world and they're all standalones, so even if I read book 2 first, I don't think it's a big deal. We'll just see how much I can get read this month. All right, guys, that is my TBR for the month of October. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know down in the comments below what you're most looking forward to reading this month, and make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!